Lights, camera, action. Join the stream team with Strick and Brant and be a part of the Stream Network. Our goal is really simple. We're here to help you succeed.
We live? Yeah. Strick City. Woo! Strick City. All over the world. City, man, we live. Yo, Strick City on the ride. Yo, look like surprise. Yo, taking your city like we live. Yo, man, we live. Yo, taking your city like surprise. Yo, on the ride. Yo, Strick City coming live. Yo. Whoop.
Yeah, you got your boy Strick. Man, I am so happy to be here with you right now. This is an awesome day. I actually have some great guests coming up in just a minute, but I want you to be ready for this, man. It's Thursday night. Your boy Strick. Do me a favor, like this, and subscribe to the channel. So if you're watching this for the first time or you're watching this on replay, I really do appreciate you coming through, but I really would like for you to be a subscriber to my channel. It's really simple. Hit the button that says subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. So every time I go live, guess what? You will know about it. Of course, I want you to know when I'm live so you can be here with me. All right. So definitely big shouts out to my man B-Mo. As you can tell, I got my B-Mo shirt on. So what side is this side? My man B-Mo's shirt on today. Definitely check him out. B-Mo Prayer. So it's been a long day today. All right, so I'm gonna just go ahead and put it out there. I'm on tonight, and I'm excited about my guests. But man, I've done like 5-6 different things today, and it's cool. It's just how Thursdays go sometimes. So if I don't get all of my words out, you don't blame me. Guess what? It's just Strick trying to do his thing. That being said, it's bmoapparel.com is where you can go and get this. And definitely big shouts out to Urban Ham. UrbanHam.com is where you can go to get all the information of what's going on in the ham. Like in Birmingham, Alabama, you want to be in the know? Go to urbanham.com. Definitely big shouts out to my man Russ and what he's doing to keep all of us up to date what's happening in our city. Have y'all heard about this kickball league that kicked off? I use kickball and kicked off at the same time, but y'all know what I'm talking about. It's really, really cool. That being said, I'm an Auburn guy, right? You know what I'm saying? I just love the city, love the football team, love the university, and I got some more guys that are just as passionate about Auburn football as I am, and they were so passionate about it, they actually started a show talking about Auburn football, and these guys are doing it and doing it very well. So without further ado, you guys may have already seen my guest list for the day, but I'm going to bring on the War Rapport. And I said it wrong on purpose. No, I said it wrong by mistake. We're going to get them on, man, and talk about it so they can pronounce rapport better than I can. All right, here we go, man. So I got my man G.I. Magazone and Mike G. They are two of the four people that are actually in the group, man. I'm sorry that I couldn't get everybody, man. I wanted the whole team, Caesar and Brian, everybody to come through today. But, man, we're going to talk about it with you guys. How are y'all doing today?
Good, man. Good.
Can't complain at all.
Let me see if I can get this mic situation together. So I appreciate y'all coming through. And, of course, G.I., man, we've been friends for a very long time, and I know you went to Auburn. I love the fact that you decided, hey, I do this music thing well, but I'm multifaceted, man. I could talk about a lot of stuff, and the whole thing to being a part of the group to actually do this podcast. Can you tell me, like, how it started for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. So shouts out to my man Mike G already in here with us. It was really he and I sat down one day. We hadn't, everybody, first of all, everybody in the War Rapport is at Auburn student. Like we met down on campus at Auburn, but I hadn't seen Mike physically, like laid eyes on him in I don't
10
even remember
years.
how many. Yeah, I was about to say it's been at least a decade, right? And so I was over at a friend's house. It was Magic City Classic weekend for those of you Birmingham, Alabama. Magic City Classic going on over at a friend's house, just chilling, and a mutual friend of ours is also friends with this friend. I'm trying not to use people's names. I'm gonna just call their names. I was at my homegirl Dewana's house, right? Girl Dewana Thompson.
Big
I was
shouts
over
out
there
to
chilling.
Dewana.
Yeah, shouts out to Dewana. Her friend, who's also a friend of mine, Deontay. Deontay Gordon.
That's
For those
what's
of you
up.
in
Yeah,
Birmingham.
yeah, no, Deontay.
Deontay hits up Dewana, is like, hey, I got some friends in town with me. We're going to slide through over there to your crib, right? So I'm chilling over there, and Dewana's like, hey, we got some more people coming down. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. We was in there chilling. My wife, my sister, just, a bunch of people just kicking it. Deontay walks in, dap him up, da-da-da. And then a few seconds later, I was like, wait a minute. I know this dude. And Mike comes walking in the door. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, again, hadn't seen Mike in 10 years.
Right.
And we just catching up about what's going on. And basically, we started talking about football. It's football season. Hey, you keeping up with the team? He's like, yeah, man, me and Caesar, C-Dub, who's on the show.
Right.
Basically, before every game, I talk to him like, hey, how do you think we're going to do today? At halftime, we'll call each other like, hey, what do you think about what happened at the half, second half adjustments, all that. And then after the game, we'll call and we'll have a whole other discussion. I was like, yo, I literally do the exact same thing with Brian, with B. Will.
Wow.
Exact same routine, pre-game, halftime, post-game. And so I was like, man, I wonder how many other people are doing this. Like this same kind of, I call my friend and we talk about Auburn football on Saturdays.
Right.
And maybe like, I don't even know how long after that, I hit him up and I was like, hey, man, do you want to like just turn on some cameras and do what we do in our game day routine live on camera and invite other people to come do it? He was down with it. He pitched it to Caesar. I pitched it to B. Will. And about a year and a half ago, man, like November or October of 2019, our first episode, we got on camera and started doing it.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's
It's,
up. I love the idea. Of course, all of us have the same story that are followers of Auburn football. Like, we all need shoulders to cry on every year. So,
Right.
for you guys to have people to call and talk about it is a big deal. Mike, for you, let me ask you this question. Like, how did the passion start? I know you were a student there, but to talk about it all the time, like, where is that for you? Did you just love football and to analyze it? Like, what's your background with it?
Well, my story is a little different than most people. Actually, coming out of high school, I graduated from Central High School in Phoenix City, Alabama.
Gotcha.
And coming into Auburn, I actually did not know anything about football.
Okay.
But I used to edit television broadcasts for the ministry that I was a part of when I was in high school. So our pastor's son was getting ready to go to college, and he was a pretty good football player for Central, and he needed somebody to edit his highlight tape. And I put that thing to Outkast, Bombs Over Baghdad.
Okay.
And it was lit. It was lit. But somebody saw it and said, hey, man, that tape is really good. Maybe you can get a scholarship or something doing something for the football team. So I literally, on a whim, walked into the athletic department and said, I just want to show my tape to somebody and see if there's a role for me here. And for 4.5 years, I filmed every practice game and bowl game at Auburn.
Wow.
So my background is, and DJ Strick, my first practice, I could not tell you all the positions on the field.
Wow, you did not know, like you wasn't a football guy at all.
Yeah,
Just had the talent to film.
Yeah, couldn't tell me I couldn't tell you what a linebacker was my freshman year, but I had to learn quickly because I had to film them. Right. And as time went on, you go, how it is with Auburn. You go to Camp War Eagle, and the indoctrination starts.
Yeah, the indoctrination process.
Right. Oh man, the brainwashing starts, and then suddenly all the Florida State and North Carolina gear I had in high school just disappeared.
Yeah, throw that away. Yeah, throw that away.
Yeah, it's sacrilegious to wear it after you get to Auburn. But as time went on, and you started to really, because my story. You get to a place like Auburn, and at the time, African Americans made up less than 8% of the student body.
Right.
So a lot of us knew each other, and Isaac was actually part of a campus ministry called Ministry.
Strick
in
was a
Action.
part of the campus ministry before
that's
I
right.
was. Yeah,
Right,
he's
so-
an MIA guy.
Yeah,
My
I am
sister-
an MIA guy. That's true.
My sister used to co-run that. My sister Pebble used to co-run that ministry back in the day when I was in high school, and so I joined it obviously after I got to campus. And
That's awesome, man. You know, we were actually trying to do some get-togethers, man. Y'all got to be a part of the. I think we have this message thread that we kind of try to keep up with everybody, but
Yeah.
of course, there's several generations of MIA, so we have to kind of figure out how we can get all of the generations together. So I got to figure that out. But go ahead. Pebbles.
but
I
you know-
never even heard of her, but that's cool.
Pedal.
Petal,
Like a
I got
flower
it.
petal.
Petal. I got
Yeah.
it.
So it was just about community, right?
Right.
I'm at college. I'm not very far from home, but I'm here and I'm looking for my community. I'm looking for my people. And so I met Isaac because I actually met Isaac before I got to Auburn when I was in high school, because he would come down to our church sometimes to perform during service. And
The Battle Cats would come down.
No, it was just
I don't know.
me.
It was just
Oh,
him. It was just him.
That
Yeah, it
was
was
because
just him.
I was at school by myself, so I was just
Yeah.
doing like solo gigs. Getting
I
out
got
and-
you.
yeah.
I got you.
Now,
Yeah.
Ike may not remember this, but we actually did a rap song together during a service one time.
I do not remember. I remember you guys had the dance group, but I do not remember us doing a rap together.
Yeah. And so we always had this community. And
Got you.
after it was over, I was the friend that moved away after college. So I was
Okay.
off to Vegas, and people were like, man, where'd Mike go? Ike was one of the only people who kept up with me consistently after I left. So when I
Gotcha.
ran into him at DeWanda's house, it felt preordained. And he said,
Gotcha.
hey, man, I got this idea for this YouTube channel. Do you want to do it? And the answer was instantly yes. DJ, how you hear idea, and you just know
Right.
that you're going to do that thing.
Right.
Right. So he hits me up and we have a little brainstorm session. And he said, what do you think about the name? What should we call it? And I said, well, we should do a play on War Eagle. What about the War Report? And he said, well, we're actually trying to build relationships with people. What about the War Rapport? And I said, oh, that rolls off the tongue real nice. I like that.
It does.
So our first broadcast was forgettable.
It was forgettable,
forgettable.
which
Yeah.
it should be. I tell people all the time, go live, just do it or stream, record,
Yeah.
whatever it takes. It's not going to be the best. It's not going to be your best work, but you have to start somewhere. So that's
For
cool.
sure.
Yeah. So we it started to evolve and I'm gonna pick up where Ike left off. We started at the end of 2019. We did nothing all off season after the season was over, and then the pandemic hits. So the world has changed. Everybody's
Right.
at home all the time. And at the
Right.
beginning of the season, Ike hits me up and he said, hey, listen, man, are we still doing this? And I'm like, yeah, for sure. Let's go. Let's get it going. So we go all season, and then our ram in the bush appears.
For sure.
And Gus Malzahn gets fired. And it creates an unprecedented amount of interest around the program.
Right.
So, we were, as a group, we were going through some things at the time. Ike got sick, we had to do some things differently, but we capitalized on what is really a once in a 5 to 6 year occurrence in that a
Right.
major program like Auburn changes coaches, and then
Right.
you get to capitalize on all the energy
attention.
that's generated.
Yeah.
So it was at that point that our voices were able to be heard.
Gotcha.
And once we had the platform, people decided I actually like what these guys have to say and how they say it.
right.
Right.
Now, we went all season consistently going live twice a week with like 100 subs.
I mean,
Maybe-
yeah, 100 subs. I thought you were gonna say how many people were watching live. I was
Yeah.
like, it was like 12.
Maybe 20 people watching
Wow.
it. And so I had set a goal. I said, listen, what if we can get 1,000 subs by next season? And he's
Yeah,
like, I think
yeah.
that's a
Our
good
goal was to get 1,000 subs by the start of the 2021 football season.
I get
Yep. It started to build, and then by the end of December, we had hit that 1,000 sub mark.
Wow.
The whole, 9 months ahead of schedule. So it continued to grow, and we started to throw some ideas out on the table and said, what if we can be a whole channel? Because anybody can go live. But
Right.
let's have a content schedule, and let's bring some excellence to what we're doing. Because not only are we voices for Auburn football, we are one of the few and the only minority voices for Auburn football.
Okay, I like that. I like that. So let me stop you there, Mike, because your goal of 1,000 subs. I want to tell people this. You're talking about subscribers to their YouTube channel. It is absolutely not an easy feat to get 1,000 people to actually hit a button on their screen to say, I want
free
content from these people. So you guys have definitely, done what it takes. I, too, tried my best to capitalize on the Gus Bus leaving Auburn. I think I did 2 videos. So my first video was My Team Sucks, which everybody loved that. I had the Auburn hat on. I had the real soft music playing, like sad music playing. I think we had just lost to, I don't know, it was a no-name team we had lost to. And I was
If it was last year, South Carolina.
Yeah.
There was a South Carolina game that we should not have lost. Or who else did we lose to? We lost to
So we lost to South Carolina last year, Texas A&M, of course, Bama,
Georgia.
And then we lost the bowl game to, was it Minnesota last year? What we played? Not Minnesota. It was the year before last. Last year was Northwestern.
Northwestern.
Yeah.
I mean, why did they even go down that route? It just makes me mad all over again. God, like there's no way.
We talk about it so much now, man. It feels like a whole other world away. But
But what's crazy about that is in that what was turmoil around the program is where we flourished.
Right.
And you're talking about turning a frown upside down. It was let's take all that negativity and turn it into something positive.
Right.
But let's be different and let's be original and let's be unique and let's just do whatever we're doing with excellence.
I love that. And we tell people all the time, it's something I don't do. Hey, let's niche down. And for you to say, hey, we are a group of guys, we talk Auburn athletics, and there's so much drama around it. We can do this year round. Am I right? You guys are on at least once a week now?
Yeah, that's hard work.
So we're live twice a week.
Twice a week.
We produce 2 other content pieces. So we have 4 content pieces that drop, 2 lives and 2 pre-recorded per week right now.
Wow.
And then we do another 5th piece that goes every other week. And we're actually about to increase and do some more stuff coming up in the fall.
Yeah.
So it's
we have a 6 piece schedule.
We have
a 6
We're gonna have about 7 pieces total by the time the fall starts.
So when things happen well, this is what we tell people: double down. Like if you got something that's working, double down on it. What am I talking about? As content creators, once you find something that's working, you duplicate that. And 7 pieces of content in a week's time. Man, that's what I'm talking about. That's some Gary V stuff, man.
Yeah, well, and not just putting out stuff to put out stuff, but it is with purpose. It is themed, and there is a purpose, and people know what to expect every Monday. One of the content pieces that we just dropped that I'm really proud of is we dropped an interview with Alan Green, the athletic director.
Oh man, I saw that. That's when I was like, dude, I gotta have these folks on my show. Like, if no one could celebrate, well, number one, for him to come on the show is a big deal. Yes, kudos to you guys to be able to close that deal. But people are not talking about this black athletic director down at Auburn that's doing some major league things. His basketball team went to the Final Four. They talk about the coach, but this is after we had a lot of turmoil. I mean, I'm talking about we got cases down at Auburn when he came. There was some cases that had been filed against some of the sports department, and he didn't inherit the best sports program. But this guy's been doing really well.
He's done a phenomenal job. That's one of the more. I think if we were to just kind of put interviews on, you want to hang that one up and say, man, that was a feather in your cap type of situation. Yeah. Not just the name of Alan Green or even the what his title is, but more so just he was just a great guy to talk to. Like he was really personable. He was very giving with his time. We didn't feel like he was trying to rush us through the situation.
That's good.
He's kept the lines of communication open afterwards, and
That's
it's
great.
been good. It was I enjoyed it, and he seemed to enjoy it, so it was a great situation for us.
Yeah, definitely. I enjoyed talking to him. He spoke briefly during the interview about the historical significance of him being the first African American athletic director at Auburn. And I'll take this time to say this: make no mistake, Alan Green is his own man.
For sure.
Right, he is nobody's puppet, man. He is down there
That's
running
good.
that thing the way that he wants to run it, and that's a big deal at Auburn.
Right.
Because there are power brokers everywhere. There are people
Yeah.
pulling strings behind the scenes everywhere, but nobody is pulling strings on Alan Green. So I was very honored to have him over this.
Man, I'm glad you said that because, man, we need him to be at a place where he feels free to be able to make the right decisions in the right time to be able to run that program. Sad to say that somebody like Pat Dye has gone on right now. Rest in peace, Pat Dye. But, that was a very big cloud that was over the whole department because everybody felt like, at the end of the day, Pat Dye was still running things.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, little inside info here. When I was filming under Tuberville, Pat Dye only came in to speak to the team one time the whole time I was there.
Wow.
And Tuberville had decided that he did not like the good old boy system.
Gotcha.
So Pat Dye, or Coach Dye, was not entirely welcome in that athletic department while, during my years at Auburn.
Gotcha.
And that was part, I think, of what caused the rift between Tuberville and some of the trustees at the end was, whatever was going on behind the scenes, he wanted to run the program the way he wanted to run it.
Right.
And to have an athletic director who is essentially doing the same thing and he's a minority is something that cannot be overlooked. Because remember I told you when we were in school, less than 8% of the student body was African American. I mean, we all knew each other. I don't know how you felt, but I feel like the black community down there, we all knew each other and kind of watched out for each other.
Mike, I'm from there. Like I went there, so when I was there, I don't know the percentage.
It was less.
But it was only 1,000 black people on campus. Like you literally knew everybody. Until this day, I still have friends from that group of people that I went to school with. Like, I don't know, that it's only like 10 years ago that I was down there.
Yeah, 10. Yeah, we'll go with
10
that.
years. I mean, I don't count well, but that community of the students, man, to me, I guess because of the number, it was like home. I felt comfortable around people, and I wish the numbers were different. I actually think now that it's less African American students on campus. I don't think that they've done the best job to recruit African Americans to campus, but that's a whole nother conversation of what's happening down at Auburn. But I had a great experience down there and have lifelong friends that I call family because of my time at Auburn.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the War Rapport is a great example of what my experience at Auburn was. It was community, it was family, it was connections that I still have. My best friend, who was the reason that I went to Dewana's house. We've been friends since my freshman year. He's my longest friend of 20 years.
Wow.
And to have relationships for that long, because I mean, think about it. Who has relationships that long anymore?
Right. That's true.
Consistently, right? Two decades, spanning 2 decades, and that's how long I've known Isaac.
Wow.
Since before I got to Auburn, so I've known him for over 20 years already. So when
I've only known him for 10 years. I think I'm a little younger than Ike, so I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So when we get on camera,
listen, Mike, man. I actually knew him before he went to Auburn, so
okay.
I'm aging myself big time.
Yeah, but to be able to talk to somebody who you've known for 20 years about football, and if I had to say what is the best attribute of the War Rapport, the thing that we have going for us the most is just it's genuine, it's authentic. It's real conversations happening.
Cool.
We want to talk with you and not at you.
Right.
So
I
that's what
love
we're
the
trying to do, so.
aspect that your show is actually from a fan's perspective. Y'all want to talk Auburn football, but from a fan's perspective. So people that are watching it, they should automatically connect with you because you're in the same seat. You're just talking at that point. So I actually love the concept. Who handles, from the group perspective, who handles like the directions? Like I know you guys are doing 7 pieces of content right now. Who handles the idea or keeping up with the strategy for YouTube for you guys?
It's really the two of us. Mike and I, gosh, we talk a lot.
Gotcha.
I mean, we have day jobs, but we talk a lot just about like where we want to see the content go.
Right.
Just ideas about ways that we can clean it. Like, man, there was a stretch where of a couple of months where Mike and I probably were on the phone 2 or 3 times a day.
Wow.
Just going over stuff like what our equipment upgrades needed to be so we can get a better picture, microphone upgrades, trying to figure out internet connections, trying to determine what the best way would be to, produce the stuff on film. Mike does all the video stuff, right? So he does intro, outro stuff. B. Will handles the audio stuff, so he handles a lot of the sound overlays that we're going to be doing for stuff and cleaning up both audio and post. I do all the graphic work, so all the stuff that we put out on social media, the stuff for the thumbnails.
Right.
Caesar's handling a lot of the topics that we do for the lives now. So we all kind of contribute in a lot of different ways, but a lot of the ideation of like figuring out, where we want to go next, that's me and Mike. Mike and I are sitting on the phone some days hours, like, and that is not an exaggeration, hours on the phone having conversations about what we want to do and what direction we want to take this show.
Are you guys following some people, or you have some other content creators that you're looking at and gleaning off of?
Not really.
Not really. Yeah, not really.
What we try to do is just keep an eye on other people in the Auburn space, like people who are doing things that are dropping content, and just to kind of see, but not so much to glean ideas, but really so much to say, it's going to sound super competitive, and it is what it is. Like, are we doing as good or better than them? Like,
I got you.
What they're creating up to the level of what we're doing? If we're not, then how do we increase our lead, right? Or are they doing similar stuff to us, and do we need to pivot? Because I don't want to be pigeonholed into the same space as other creators in our space.
How can you be pigeonholed? Like when you guys on camera talking about Auburn football is enough to differentiate you from everybody else that's doing it. Am I right in saying that?
Well, there's some other content creators out there. People have attempted some form of what we've done before, and there is limited growth without innovation. So I talked about, we talk on the phone every day. Those conversations are about aligning vision. Because you cannot grow something without a vision. Right?
There you go.
And one of the things I would tell Isaac, I was like, listen, man, I don't want to be good on accident. I want to be good on purpose.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? So if we can be good on purpose, we will accomplish what no other content creator has been able to accomplish in this space. Because early on, DJ, I had a lot of people tell me consistently, if you guys want to continue to grow, you're going to have to go beyond Auburn. And I said, well, that might be true. I think that ceiling is a lot higher than you think, because nobody has done what we're trying to do and pulled it off yet. So you talk about those content pieces that we drop. We keep an eye on what we dub the competition. I mean, they don't know we're competing, but we in our heads we're competing. Because I'm not. I mean, people will watch anything at least once, but they are only giving their money to places and people that they find value or get value in return from. And they're only repeat visitors where there's either community or, again, value.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you.
Well, the value for them is information, right? So like if I can get valuable information back out from you and or community, then I'm going to come back. We just decided we're going to merge those two things together and give you a bunch of information and build a great community.
I like that. I like that. So Ike, let me tell you this. This is my first time meeting Mike. I like Mike, dude. I like him. Like, he's talking my language, dude. I absolutely love that. That you guys could be so centered, and you said something that really sparked my interest. Like, you don't want to be good on by mistake, by accident. Like that. That is so true. You want to know what you're doing. You want to be very strategic and plan out your success. And I feel like you guys have done that or on a good playing field to get
we're on
there.
Pace. We're on pace.
Definitely on pace to get there. I think that you guys talking Auburn football has an extreme high ceiling, because if you're streaming and talking about it like this way, that's just the beginning. Right. What happens one day when you're, in front of your RV and actually doing it live in front of the stadium? You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of stuff. So when you're getting a chance to talk to the AD, you need to, I want to use in my head parlay, I want to use that word, but you want to take advantage of an opportunity to have that connection, because who knows when you could do a recording from a booth or a box and actually be at the game and do those kind of things, right?
Yeah, let me tell you, I think that's the piece that a lot of people miss. It's that, yay, we got an Alan Green interview. That's great. But what we really got out of it, the most valuable part of that was the relationship.
The relationship.
Right.
That's why it's the rapport, right? Like, we're building that rapport.
Rapport. I like it.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, if you're a content creator and you're watching this and you have reached 400 subs and it feels like it's dragging on, because we were in that space at 100 for like a year.
Right.
Yeah.
Really. And
let me I don't mean to cut you off, Mike, but let me say this. We were happy about hitting 100.
That's funny.
Yeah.
We were like, yo, we got 100, bro. And was like, hey, man, we doing it, 100. Because we grew from 0 to 100. We was like, all right, cool. We're starting to. But anyway, continue.
Well, in that vein, right, we had days in December of 2020 where we were growing 100 a day.
Wow.
And I can tell you that most of the statistics, I like to nerd out on stats and numbers.
Right.
And I can tell you that a lot of content creators quit around 400 or 500, and they never push through. And so, when I'm tracking different channels to see how people are growing, again, YouTube promotes content that keeps people on YouTube.
On their platform. You're right.
That's it. Right. And if you can provide that, they will promote your content. They will recommend it to anybody who might even be interested. We have paid members of our channel who are graduates of other schools.
Wow.
Yeah. We got a guy who went to Southern California that subs to our channel. And I will tell you that after 1,000 subs, because that's the magical mark that YouTube puts on, hey, now you can monetize and be a partake in the ad revenue and things. Right. Subscriptions are really a vain metric.
Come on. That's true.
Right. All that really matters is you can have 20,000 subs, but what do your views look like? Because that will tell me whether you're providing content that people want.
That's right, Mike.
So if you got 20,000 subs and you're getting 1,000 views per video,
something's wrong.
Yeah, that tells me that a lot of people get subscribed, but didn't find value.
So the number is on the high end, only 50%. On the high end is 50% of the subs that are actually watching most contents. That's on the high end. So, you're right. Once you get to that partner program, you're really just trying to attract people to watch your content, and it's not about the subscribers, because you don't get paid by subscribers. You get paid by the ads from people actually watching, or you have, like you guys have merch. Don't let us get away today without talking about you guys' merch. I want to be sure that we do that because that's the way you do it. And there's some other things that can be done. You guys talked about I try to help people get monetized as well, guys. Mm-hmm. So it's not just about the partner program. I started a show with a guy, my co-host, his name is Brent Collins, and we do the stream show. So just like you guys, I talk about something different than just Strick City Live. I actually help people stream, right? And I do it on a whole nother channel with him, and we're growing. But we were monetized outside of YouTube before we even made our first video. And we're trying to help content creators understand there's a way for you to get support from your community, even outside of YouTube, so you can continue to create, because it does take finances to create. You want to be a creator that brings in revenue. I just want to tell my wife I made a little extra money today. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Hey,
Well,
listen.
I'll tell you this. For as much time as we put into content creation, one of the things that I enjoy, one of the things that causes me to take a step back sometimes and admire some of the things that we've accomplished is that it is 100% produced in-house.
Wow.
Right?
That's
We have all the technical and production capability in-house to be able to produce the War Rapport. I get one of my favorite questions is, who does your music? And to be able to say, B. Will is a music producer.
Yes.
You know, the GI is a lyricist.
A very
Yo.
good one, by
Right?
the way.
I mean, having that sort of skill in-house to couple with technical skill is something that's also very rare too.
Right.
And that's part of what helps create a unique product on screen.
That's good.
Because nobody can, we don't need anybody to come in and tell us how to produce it.
right.
We know how to
Right.
produce it.
Right.
You know, we know all the things that we need to put it together. And so as you grow, you know, if you're a content creator, be your own best asset.
Come on. I
Be
like
your
that.
own best asset. Be the MVP of your own team.
I like that.
First.
I like that.
You know, and learn. Take the time to learn. And I'll tell you this real quick, DJ Strick, may or may not be applicable here, but as we grew, and I wanted to do some more creative things, I was telling Ike, I was like, Ike, I need a better computer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need a better computer to work from. And, you know, I was trying to explain to him, like, I'm limited by the software that I'm using to edit. So
Okay.
while I was in school, I created a intro video, a hype video that was actually Auburn's football's very first hype video.
Oh, man,
It
that's
was-
cool.
The 2004 season, you can find it on YouTube. Just type in Auburn Will Rise. This was before iPhones, so it's low res.
Okay.
But I was the athletic department bought a PowerBook G4 Mac laptop at the time, and it had Final Cut Pro on it. And I had learned to edit at my church on Avid, but I was like, you know, I'm going to teach myself Final Cut.
Right.
And this was the first project I produced on Final Cut, and it got to play in front of the stadium, in front of 89,000 people every Saturday that season. Now,
Wow.
I don't want to claim any credit for us going undefeated, but
Okay, that could help get everybody up,
yeah,
right?
Right, but it was somewhat prophetic because it was preseason, and the Auburn Will Rise was the theme of the video. So
Wow.
we certainly did that in 2004. But I'm editing DJ, and I'm just thinking, I was like, I need better tools to produce a better product because the skill I have, but at some point you're limited by the tools that you're using.
That's true.
Well,
Yeah.
we decided to buy a computer. We monetized, and we decided to buy a computer. And money, it was not flowing freely at the time.
Right.
But I looked at this computer. I looked at my dream computer, and I said, I want this Mac Pro. It's their version, right? Their new desktop. This thing, the cheapest version of this thing is $6,000.
What?
And I told myself, I said, I can't justify spending our money on that right now. That's
Right.
crazy for a single tool. So what I did was, when I talk about be your own best asset, be your
Okay.
own MVP, I told Isaac, I said, you know what? I'm going to build this computer.
Okay.
I had a friend help me source all the parts. Brian helped me with the purchasing. We sent it all to my place, and I built this computer from scratch myself.
Wow.
It is better than 95% of the computers that you can walk into a store and buy. It'd be very hard to
Wow.
walk in a store and buy something as custom and as powerful. And
Wow.
after I got my computer, I said, okay, guys, now let me show you why this was a good investment. And we started putting out, the graphic game stepped up, the motion graphic game stepped up. The edits were cleaner. Take the time, use it as a tool to learn a skill.
Yeah.
Right. And
I
that
like
is something that I think that we need to talk about, for a lot of minority content creators. It's, nobody's handing you anything.
That's true. That's true.
Right?
But
So
Mike,
you
hold on
gotta work for it.
before you go there. I want you to hold that thought. But I also, you dropped a couple of things. You have a custom laptop. So you were a Mac guy.
Desktop.
So
It's a
desktop.
desktop, yeah.
So custom desktop. So you were a Mac guy. Is this a PC? Like what did you
It's a
actually
PC.
build?
Yeah, it's
So-
a PC.
So
because
what editing software are you using then?
Adobe Premiere.
I got you.
Yeah, Adobe Premiere Pro, and I built a PC. It made sense while owning a Mac or an Apple computer is nice because they warranty their products. What I realized if I build it myself, I can actually build something nicer, and then
Right.
I can upgrade it whenever I want.
As you go. That's true.
Right, so I don't have to buy a new computer. I can just buy the component,
The component
and
that you
then
needed.
upgrade my processor, upgrade my RAM, upgrade my storage myself. And for everything that you don't know how to do, you're going to be paying somebody else to do that
That's right.
as you grow.
Ike, have
And-
I already said that I really like this guy, Mike? I just met him for the first time.
I don't recall.
Golly.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, learn it because now we don't have to pay somebody to do things that we know how to do.
That's true.
You know, the real world examples are there. If you can change your own oil, you can save $50 every oil change.
That's true. Or
You know?
or if you know how or what it takes to change your oil, you'll know the value of it when you do pay for it.
Exactly.
Or if somebody's overcharging you, say like for graphics, like if you know how to do graphics and the time it takes, you won't just find a graphics person that'll just knock you over the head for some crazy
Right.
fee. Like, man, I'm asking you to do 1, 2, 3 thing. Like just go into Photoshop
Right, I know
and
exactly
change
what
this.
it takes to do
I kn-
this thing, and if
Yeah.
it's taking you 3 hours to do it, then you're not very good because I
Not
can do
very-
it in an hour and a half.
Exactly. And sometimes that justifies for me. Sometimes it justifies me to just take the time and do it if I can't find the person that'll do it the right way. Or actually, I ask people if they can do it, so I'll know in my mind how much money I'm saving when I do it myself.
Yeah, for
No,
sure,
I mean, but
definitely.
we definitely took the time to do our research. Like when we decided, all right, we need to kick this up a notch. Like we were just out here doing it. And those were those were hard conversations that I had
Right.
to have with everybody in the group. It's like, man, do y'all really want? I mean, like we're doing it, but do we really want to do this? Like,
Gotcha.
because I see the potential, but I don't see the effort.
Right.
And
I
we've
get
got to
that.
figure out how to put more effort behind this if we actually want to see the growth happen. And man, when we started getting to it, man, like I said, Mike has been a beast. He's been learning everything he can to help us do what we got to do. And I think that's when Mike's effort stepped up to that level. That's when we started really doing it. Like because I was already like trying to push everybody, but it wasn't until Mike activated that it was like, all right, now I got somebody who can run with me. It's over. We're gonna do it.
I absolutely love that. So, Mike, I got to tell you this. When I was about to get started, it was my man LP. I got to give him credit for pushing me to start Strick City
sure.
Live. And then it was my girl.
I remember when we were in the
Lo.
barbershop. We were in the
you
barbershop
were
having
there.
that conversation.
You were there. That is right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But and then I called A-Lo and said, hey, LP was really pushing me to do this. He's like, yes, you should do it, Strick. Do it now. I actually called Ike back and said, hey, man, what are you guys using? Like, I think it was you had another podcast that you were doing at the time, and I was asking you about, hey, what system you're using and all of that. So I appreciate the time spent just to kind of get me started going the right direction in what I'm doing because, this stuff is difficult.
It's definitely.
And I want to tell
definitely not
everybody, Mike was going down this road to encourage content creators, and I wanna go that way as well. If there's something that you want to do, you have a passion for it. It's not going to be easy. You can do it, but really dig deep into what
Right.
you want to do.
Yeah.
Figure out all the things that you need, and there's tons. I say this again, tons of people on YouTube that will explain it to you
Yeah.
step by step, and I'm one
Right.
of them. So if you're somebody that's trying to create content and you want to get out there, it's really, really simple. I have a link, and I'm going to put it into my link in the descriptions where you can get to me, And I would love to help you through the process. All right. So that's one of the things that I do with the stream show. It comes on Sunday nights on the stream show YouTube page. And if you're there and you're like, man, I see Strick, I see the War Rapport, I said it right. And I really want to get out there and do more. I got a channel and I'm just not getting the traction that I need. I can help. That being said, what else, Mike, and would you guys tell content creators as a way to kind of help them get over the humps that they have right now?
Go for it, Mike.
Yeah, I would just say consistency is key. And that's true of anything that you do in life. You know, if you want to be good at something, you have to consistently press forward. And
that's right.
As you're pressing, you know, there's inspiration is in life all around us. So,
right.
you know, when I'm watching a TV commercial or sometimes just during the conversation that Ike and I are having on the daily, we will come up with ideas and say, hey, you know what, why don't we do this? How can we take this thing to the next level? Right. Yeah. So if you can create a consistent, a consistent flow in what you're doing in your content creation, evolution is what comes next. Eventually, you'll evolve. You'll find out what works, what doesn't work. You know, and you'll eat the meat and spit out the bone, so to speak. Right? Like it is. There's no. Don't get so caught up in trying to do something so right that you do nothing at all.
Come on, man. I like that.
Right? Yeah, that's the one I was gonna go at, man.
Yeah, get out there and try.
Don't be afraid to
hard.
start. Yeah,
that's good.
Like that, I think that's the biggest thing for people is they're so wrapped up in trying to make it look perfect that they're afraid to start. And it's okay to start rough, but start. Like just go. Look, you don't have to have the best camera in the world. I told you they're still up. We didn't take down those really horrible streams that we did a year and a half ago.
Hey, neither have I. I have some terrible streams. I mean, it's so grainy. It's like, what in the world was I doing? I have a stream up. My very first, not stream, but video I ever did. Like it was 2007. And I was asking people to be on a Strick City street team from the Jam studio. It is horrible. Like I don't know.
Cell phone camera.
It could. No. It was I still had the camcorder, man. I was taping the studio with the camcorder, but it sounded terrible. I had too much energy for what I was trying to say. I don't know what I think I was doing at the time, but guess what? That shows my growth. That's where I was then, and I know years later, you kind of get better over time. You got to start somewhere, and what happens is, well, what should I do? How long should it be? How many lights do I need? What kind of camera? That gets to be obstacles, Mike, for people. And all of those obstacles stop you from doing the one thing that you want to do,
which is creating the content. Yeah,
exactly.
And Mike and I talk about that all the time. The paralysis by analysis. Like you get stuck in the details, and then and by the time you weed through all those details, you've placed this mountain in front of you that you feel like you can't climb to start. And then once you start trying to get up there, and it's like, okay, I got this. Then life starts coming at you, right? And so it's like, oh, now my time is eating up. And it's like, you know what? Just start. Just do something today.
Just start.
And you'll figure out tomorrow when you get there. You will. And trust me, it ain't going to always feel good. It ain't going to always look successful. Right. I've started and failed a lot of ventures artistically in my life. But each one of those things has allowed me to get better at the next thing that I attempted to do.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
good. I'll tell other content creators to block out the noise as well too. When you're growing, when you're doing things, everybody's going to have an opinion on what you're doing.
That's right.
And understanding what opinions matter and which ones don't is something that I think a lot of content creators struggle with.
Right.
So we get hundreds of comments on our videos, and most of it is encouraging, but there's always that one that just never gets the message and is super negative for whatever reason. And when we started this, that one comment out of the 100 used to bother me so much.
Right.
And Ike would always tell me every day, why do you even give that any air? Now, first, I'm thinking, is there an opportunity for growth? Is this 1 in 100 that's negative something that we can actually work on?
Gotcha.
Or is it just noise? So be careful who you let plant seeds in your head as you grow, and seek out people who are like-minded. Because one of the stated goal of our channel is not only just to talk football, but it's to build community. But that community is not just with the people that come to listen to us, our subs. It's with other content creators as well.
Right.
I like that.
Now, so we are trying to build a community. It's got to matter. That's how your product remains genuine and authentic, and something that people listen. People quit subscriptions all the time. You know what's harder to quit? It's harder to quit family.
That's right.
It's harder to quit community.
That's true.
Right. So if you're going to quit the War Rapport, you're quitting a whole community of people who just want to come. I had a guy left a comment today, said, you know what? This is the first video you guys have ever done where I think I disagree with you. And I wrote him back and I said, listen, disagreements are welcome.
Right.
Right.
Because we can't learn anything if we all think the same thing.
That's right.
Right.
Right? So, what we've tried to do is, a lot of fans live in an echo chamber. And you will not find that on our channel. If you are tuning in to hear why Auburn's going to win every game, we're not the channel for you. Right? We have a thing
like
that we say, it's a no sunshine, pump zone. Right?
I like that.
So we are bringing it real. Some people can't handle it. They think that reality is too negative.
Negativity. Yeah.
I got
Right?
you.
Yeah. Reality is negativity, and for us, it is no, man. Reality is just that. It's reality.
Right.
Let's talk about it. So let's talk about what is, and not some far off dream of what we hope all the time.
Right, right. I will tell you this, man. I really love what you guys are doing, even to the next phase of your evolution with your merch. Can you talk about how you guys are now using merchandise to kind of help your channel?
Yeah, absolutely.
I have this one.
Yeah, so I come out of the hip hop world, right? And so I think one of the first things that I focused on when we even started doing the channel was the branding aspect of it. Of like, what does the brand look like? What is the aesthetic going to be? And then I came up with this. You see the logo right there. You see what I'm doing right here on my
I like that.
But yeah,
I like that.
This is the logo for the brand. I came up with that with the intent a year and people think I'm kidding about this, and Mike can attest to the fact that this is not a lie. When we came up with the idea for the show, the first thing I did was start to figure out what the branding was going to look like, because I knew one day I was going to put that on some merchandise. I knew I was and I just waited for the opportunity. So I had prepared in my brain, this is what this is going to look like from a merchandising standpoint from the very first day when we came up with the name.
All right, can I stop you right there? I want to apologize right now because I got 2 Stay in Your Lane shirts and the last GI Maggot shirt that I could have worn today. I wasn't thinking, man.
It's all good, man. Listen,
I wasn't thinking. I apologize.
I'm repping me if don't nobody else do it, man. But
and I was thinking at the first time, I wouldn't like the prices going up thing. I didn't understand it when it first came out. But guess what? I completely understand prices going up. If you still got some of those T-shirts, I'm an extra large. I need to get one.
Yes, sir. But yeah, man. So as far as merch is concerned, I just I started figuring out how I wanted to put that together, and I'm coming up with new stuff. Like we are literally dropping a new shirt Monday. There's a new shirt that's dropping on the merch store Monday. And I got some more stuff that I'm planning for the fall, but it's just another way for us to be able to it is a thing to build money, like we can get money off of it, but that's not really the point of it. The point is really more so to kind of give another element of that community, right? Like you can see somebody out with the War Rapport shirt on and be like, oh, you watch too, right? And like you can immediately identify other members of that community just from them. I fully expect to be able to walk on campus for a home game this fall, and people see other War Rapport members out there with the War Rapport T-shirts. I immediately know, oh, you family, like straight up, you family, cool.
I love it. I love it.
So we're trying to build that.
I love it. Hey, I do have the channel link in the comments, so definitely go by their page and subscribe to the channel if you're an Auburn person, want Auburn content done by these guys. I want you to go support them. I want the new shirt. You know what I'm saying? I gotta have it. I buy Auburn stuff all the time, so I gotta be on the team. Are you guys?
You know what? I can get you something special. I got something special like.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. I like special stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we talked about this dude earlier today. So big shouts out to Mr. Gordon. Checking in with us. Big shouts out to you, brother. We do have such a special community of Auburn people, even in Birmingham, but all over. And they're doing such amazing things right now. I'm so excited to even have you guys on. It's a big deal for me because it's a way to me to support other content creators, especially ones that are doing some great things and are seeing some success on the beginning stages. Because 2 years in, guess what? It's still the beginning. Like, you guys have so much more that you're going to get a chance to do, and I just hope you don't forget about poor little Strick down here being a part of it. More importantly, I'm going to enjoy the show that you guys provide. That being said, we talked about the content. I got the link to the actual YouTube channel that you guys can go subscribe to. Can we please talk some Auburn football for a second?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I would love to know what you guys think about whether Bo Nix is going to make it as the starter next year. Would they start this season with Bo Nix?
I'm gonna let Mike do that.
Mike, did you have to kind of blow to answer this question, Mike? What are you thinking, man?
This is a divisive topic on our channel.
It is. This
is a divisive topic on our channel. I talked earlier about just the reality by which we handle content on our channel. And
Mike, can I interrupt you just 1 second, man?
Sure.
I'm sorry that I have to do this. I try my best to build community in what I'm doing. And anytime that you have Miss Smith come to your channel,
I see her.
You know what I'm saying, and check in. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, if you have Chandra T checking into your channel, it's a big deal. You know what I'm
she's
saying?
big time. She's big time.
I don't even know she watch us, so it's definitely, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, that was shade. It's cool.
You know what I'm saying? That's a big deal. I got tons of people that I know from Auburn, and definitely she's a super, super sweetheart. So thank you for checking in with us. Mike, I apologize, man.
No, you're good. You're good. What were we talking about?
I have no idea. Sandra T, Sandra came to the show. But Bo Nix, you had to blow about it. So, I really want to know what you think, Mike.
Well, again, this is a divisive topic in the fan base. There is a whole segment of fans that think that Bo Nix is still the next coming of. And there's another segment of fans that are done with him already. Gotcha. So, one of the things that we talk about a lot is our previous coach did not do well with freshman QBs. In 8 years, there's not a single example of him developing a kid that came in as a freshman at quarterback into a serviceable SEC quarterback, right? He's had 3 good quarterbacks since 2010. Cam Newton, Nick Marshall, Jarrett Stidham. They all share in that they learned how to play quarterback somewhere else and then came to Auburn. But I'd be hard-pressed to say that those guys actually grew in our system, which is the primary reason. Bo Nix's lack of development is the primary reason that Auburn paid $21 million to hand Gus his walkie papers. Wow. Some people don't want to hear it, but I'll tell you that right now. He bet his career at Auburn on whether he could turn Bo Nix into an SEC caliber quarterback. And in the first 2 years, based on the results, I think that we can safely say that has not happened yet. It's not to say that this young man doesn't have talent. He certainly has talent. And I think that his talent ceiling is high. But I do not think that he had the leadership to realize that talent at a high level. And hopefully what we see here is that the new coaching staff coming in can help him either realize that talent or sit him down quickly. Yeah.
So there's a lot of nuances that comes into developing players.
Right.
And one of the best way to develop a player is to have someone behind them that's a real competitor.
There it
Now,
is.
we have had some great athletes. I would say decent athletes. None of them have left and done major things. There's some that's done some good things outside of the Auburn football team and on other football teams. But we had, was his name Joey behind
Gatewood.
Joey
Gatewood?
Gatewood, yeah.
He's in Kentucky
That,
now.
you know, that we could have made some decisions to at least get him on the field. It would have helped the fans understand where his talent level was, but what also gave Bo Nix some time to see somebody else out there, whether he was making mistakes or not, but with an opportunity to kind of get you to work harder and be better. What do you think
Right.
about that?
I mean, I think that's the reason why T.J. Finley is in Auburn right now, right? He was the third-string quarterback for LSU. Well, last year he was the second-string quarterback. He ended up third in the depth chart after their spring game this past spring. But that's the reason why he's in Auburn right now, is to push Bo Nix for that starting position, to make him have to earn it a little bit more. And that's not to say that, the freshman kid that's in there right now, Demetrius Davis, doesn't have the talent to. I think he just doesn't have the experience that the coaching staff wants to see to be competing for the first string spot. So Bo has not had that. For 2 years, he hasn't had someone in his hip pocket that he knew was breathing down his neck, that if he messed up, somebody else is coming in to take that spot. And now for the first time, I think that he legitimately feels as if there's competition in my QB room. I need to step it up or I'm going to be sat down. And that's going to be necessary. It's absolutely, and we actually had a I won't say debate, but we did have some people in our comment section questioning whether or not an athlete at this level needed competition as motivation. And I would argue that there is no place in life where competition isn't necessary for motivation, because at some point in time, everyone, no matter how talented you are, no matter how driven you are, relaxes.
Right.
And the moment that you relax is the moment that someone should be there to remind you you're not so high and mighty that you can't get got.
Right.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'll tell you,
Go ahead.
we don't even want to fall into that trap on our own channel,
Correct.
right? Because
good.
I told Ike, I said, if there's any one thing I will not be, it's outworked by the
Outworked.
next guy.
I like
we
that.
don't
I
have
like
it.
that.
Right,
Well,
so-
well, let me tell you this. As we talk about Auburn football, you're doing a really good job when you have people like Sam here
Sam.
chime in and say he loves us, but he still is going to do a roll tide. Man, even the Tiders
I mean,
have to
I don't
watch.
know why you let profanity happen in your chat like that, but it is what it is. Everybody. Some people are sacrilegious and they just come into the house and just say what they want to. It's fine. Wipe your feet next time, sir.
Right. So let me age myself a little bit, because my connection with Bo Nix is, of course, his dad, Pat Nix, and we were on a team together at Auburn. Stan White was the starting quarterback. Pat was behind him, but we also had somebody else on our team that people don't know was down at Auburn at the time, was Pat Sullivan. Pat Sullivan's son was on the team at that time, so it was a nice group of competition. Of course, Pat Sullivan never played, but he was on the team at that time, and I would say watching Bo Nix, I think that has more intangibles than even his father did, which is his father was a great guy. I loved hanging around with him. We did some ministry stuff together. But his son, man, is faster, stronger, the whole nine. And I think that the kid really had an opportunity. I felt like without having a great bench behind him, that Gus didn't run some of the plays they probably could have ran, trying to keep him healthy. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think about that?
Here's my opinion on the whole situation, and if you watch our channel, I am no fan of Gus Malzahn and his system, and what it materialized into for Auburn. And I will say this: he didn't do Bo Nix any favors.
Gotcha.
Yeah, for sure. That's a fact.
And at multiple levels, right? Like, I don't think that the scheme, if he had decided, you know what, let's run. I understand you want to keep him healthy, but a large percentage of what his skill set is allowing him to run the football more often. And if he had decided he was just going to really try to make this a little more hybrid of what the Nick Marshall style of the Gus Malzahn system was going to be, and a little less of whatever this other crap is he was trotting out there on the field. I think Bo Nix would have been more successful early because he would have been able to be comfortable in his athleticism, which is the separator between. That's the reason he was a 5-star athlete coming out of high school. Is because he was more athletic than your average quarterback, but he still had elite arm strength. Right. And he can make all the throws, but what separated him was the athleticism. So allow him to lean into that a little bit more to capitalize on it. Right. Number one. Number two. A lot of what happened from a passing scheme, and I'm going to get super in, like everybody knows when they watch the show, I get like way into the weeds when it comes to like talking scheme.
Let's go. All right, let's do it.
Yeah, but a lot of what they did from a passing scheme standpoint didn't allow for success for, number one, a weak offensive line that didn't do a great job in pass protection. But number two, inexperienced people in the wide receiver group to really understand fundamentally what they were trying to accomplish. Long developing plays do not behoove you well when you're in a situation where your offensive line is poor and you've got a quarterback who doesn't have a ton of experience. Because it leads to disaster after disaster. So you're keeping the kid on the run because every possession that you want to try to throw the ball downfield, it's 10, 15-yard routes, right? Nobody's even supposed to be open for the first 3 seconds, and the offensive line can't block for longer than 2.5. That's disaster. With a young quarterback, you're just putting him in the line of fire repeatedly. So his development is going to be stunted. Now he is in a position where he's abandoning the pocket too soon, because he's not comfortable back there. He doesn't understand how to really move within that pocket because, again, he's a freshman. He doesn't really understand the speed of the game is too much for him at this point in time. So he does revert back into some bad habits fundamentally with throwing off of a 4-flat form or trying to make a play every single time and throwing it into bad situations because he's not accustomed to that sort of thing. So it just didn't do him any favors, man. He started him off poorly, and despite all the freshman records that he broke in that first season, you come into the second season now, you switch offensive coordinators, you bring in Chad Morris, completely different pass scheme, but still the same porous offensive line, and still not a fundamental understanding of what makes Bo Nix a great athlete. And you don't utilize those things, year number 2 goes the opposite direction. He regresses back towards what is inevitably going to become the downfall of Gus. It's just, I said, I don't know. And I've heard nothing but wonderful things about Gus Malzahn. I've never personally spoken with the man, so I can't speak to who he is as a person, but I can speak to the decisions that I saw being made on the field. And those decisions, to me, did not indicate that he was looking for the success of the athlete. He was trying to win ball games to save his job. And that's the strategic way of, I'm going to take a couple of lumps as long as the program progresses, was not the route that he was taking towards the end because he was fearful of being fired.
Well, I think that he got into a situation that he worked his way out of other times and could not do it this year. Like, they just lost a game they should not have lost, and at that point, I'm sure he knew that his job was going to be over.
He shot himself in the foot. He shot himself in the foot. Like, you lose the game, but then when you come out in the media and you make comments that what did he say, Mike?
Essentially, it was tantamount to 6-4 is a solid season.
Solid season. That's the phrasing that he used. And it's like, sir.
Yeah.
No, sir.
By no stretch of the imagination is this okay.
No, sir. It's not okay. Not with the caliber of athletes you have on the team, and not with a team like Alabama up the street doing what they were doing.
Right. Well, let's take Alabama out of the equation. Let's talk about consistently landing, top 12 recruiting classes, right? So you've got the talent on the team that you're not utilizing properly, and you're not retaining really well because they're transferring out at a pretty alarming rate when you talk about skill position players. And let's talk about how much money you're being paid to coach this team, which is in the top 7 in the country for head coach salaries. And you have one of the highest staff. The amount of money you're paying for your entire staff is one of the most. You're paying people a ton of money to come in here and coach and get solid years out of them.
Right.
No,
Right.
sir. That's not what
Right.
we're doing. We're not spending this much money going and recruiting this caliber of talent, and you're losing 4 games. Nah.
Yeah.
And then come out on the media and say, "Well, we did pretty good." No.
So-
no, sir.
Yeah, I'll interject this because it's simple for me. Top 10 paid coaches should produce top 10 results at the end of the year.
Should have
And
top 10 schools
Right.
or
So,
programs.
Correct.
We were top 10 everything, but in
Where
the
we
in the
finished
final
in the-
standings.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right, so we got the 6th highest paid coach in the country. We got an average of 9th rated recruiting classes over the last 10 years, and somehow we're finishing outside the top 20.
It's not good. So
That's not good enough.
Well,
Math
Mike,
ain't
I got a question for you, Mike. Since you would do the videos, so you would know how to break videos down. Is it true that Gus really only ran 5 offensive plays?
Okay, so let me tell you this, right? Gus's system was about misdirection, and the base of the plays were the same, pretty much, with 4 or 5 different options.
Options on the same play.
Right, for the quarterback, right? And we hear this from NFL scouts. This sort of system does not translate well to the next level
Got you.
because you cannot run a simplistic system like that at the next level. It's going to work. The athletes are too good. The resources that go into studying what you do and how to stop it
Right.
are almost endless at the NFL level. So you cannot make that work. The hours that they have to prepare for you are limited in college. They
I got
are
it.
virtually unlimited at the next level.
At the next level.
And that was probably my biggest knock on him is his system wasn't getting kids ready
To the next level.
to live their dream
Gotcha.
and make it to the next level. It just wasn't happening. And the draft results, I think, were a perfect example of why we needed to make the change, because ultimately recruiting, getting the next 5-star comes down to what you put on film and what kids see that you're at least trying to do.
Right.
And if I'm a top flight wide receiver, why do you come to Auburn at this point? You're not
Right.
going to get
They're
the
not gonna
ball
throw
with
you
any
the ball.
consistency. Yeah, right. We had those guys come through. Anthony Schwartz should have been a 1st or 2nd rounder, easy.
Should have.
Seth Williams, his floor should have been 3rd round.
Right.
But what the scout said is that it's not on tape, because they said, "Hey, do you guys know how to run more than 3 routes?"
Wow. So
And
they even got a guy down there now. Was that Shedrick, if he's still there?
Jackson.
Jackson. So he was from Hoover, of course. The guy behind him, wide receiver wise, went to Georgia and is taking over Georgia. He was supposed to go to Auburn as well, but because he went to Georgia, they're throwing the ball better. This guy is a superstar now. He's definitely at a higher level.
He got injured this offseason, so definitely prayers for that young man.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he blew out an ACL during spring camp.
Wow.
Pickens,
Pickens, right?
Yeah. But George Pickens was definitely, he was doing his thing, and he was supposed to be at Auburn. But again, I don't fault George Pickens for not coming to Auburn. I don't fault what's the young man at Clemson that
Justin Ross.
Justin Ross. Justin Ross was supposed to be an Auburn guy.
Wow.
I don't fault Justin Ross for going to like if you had to pick between the results for Auburn and the results for Clemson over the last 3 years, you're picking Clemson every time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so and again, that's a problem. There's no reason why you are and I'm going to use intentional air quotes here, offensive guru, but you can't get top flight offensive talent to come play for you. That just doesn't make sense.
For
Yeah,
years.
I'll tell you.
Go ahead, Mike.
I'm sorry. The guy up the road, Saban, is essentially running a job placement program for the NFL.
Right.
If you're a 4 or 5-star and you go there, you're going to be a draft pick.
Right.
He can tell kids that confidently.
He sure can. And the numbers prove it.
That's it. I mean, if the proof is in the pudding, you just got to put it on tape and show kids. And that will be our new coach's challenge.
Gotcha.
It won't be all about wins and losses. So if you're a fan and you're listening to this, I want you to know you cannot judge this coach's success in year 1 in wins and losses.
Well, traditionally, Mike, I will tell you this. He has a better opportunity his first year than any other time. because
Yeah,
It's going
that's
to
true.
catch some people by surprise.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
they don't have any tape on whatever offense they're going to come out with, and he will have a chance. And we've seen that with Auburn. The first year that the coach is there, they do very well.
Right, right. So you know, he's got an opportunity, I think, like I said, to catch some people by surprise. But ultimately, what it's going to come down to, success this year is going to look like: did we take steps forward to implementing what we're ultimately trying to do? Because when you're in a recruit's living room from here until the next signing day next February, you have to be able to tell them truthfully, listen,
Right.
we are trying to do these things. The only reason it didn't work is because we don't have you.
Right. I
Come
get
play
it.
come play for Auburn.
Right.
Right? I
Right.
mean, that's it. They can't all go play for Clemson and Bama and Ohio State.
No.
So, you know, we need another we need a coach that comes in with that mindset that instills hard work. You know, there were some reports coming out of Auburn about, it wasn't a hard thing to get out of a workout. At Auburn, under Gus, a lot of excuses were being made, and the inconsistencies that we heard about behind the scenes, I think, really manifested themselves
on
on
the
Saturday.
field.
Yeah,
Right.
and we saw those inconsistencies in the game because you play how you practice.
Gotcha.
And I mean, ultimately, when they reviewed the program, I'm going to plug our interview with Alan Green real quick. I asked Alan, we didn't pull any punches in this interview.
Gotcha.
I asked him, I said, listen, you paid $21 million to get rid of Gus. Tell us why. And he said, when we looked at the program, there wasn't the hope around the program and in the locker room that we need. So we decided that it was time to make a change. And I listened to that and I thought, wow, like, what happens in life when people start to lose hope?
Right.
Now, in football, when people start to lose hope, they stop paying for tickets and they stop donating money. They stop buying merchandise, which is ultimately what this comes down to.
Revenue.
Is it right? Yeah. Is it the people holding the purse strings or not confident that our last coach was a good investment any longer?
Wow.
Right? And so when they start to lose hope, your money stops. When players start to lose hope, the product on the field crumbles.
Right. Right.
And they
You'll see
decided to stop the bleeding now rather than to give him another year. He got 8 years, man. 8 years is a long time
it is.
to prove that you can't do something.
I just hate the fact that he didn't get the opportunity to go to Arkansas the year before. I really wanted that for Gus so bad. I really did. I was really upset with all the Alabama fans.
Man.
Like, Alabama, the one time that we need you guys to come through with a win, you lose, and we had Gus for another year. Now, that being said, I wanna give a little balance to my man Gus. I think Gus, outside looking in, he was a nice Christian guy leading the team. All right?
Yeah.
Big ups to him and all the success or all the money that he was able to generate with Waffle House in the area when he would go after their wins and celebrate at Waffle House. He did a great job for Waffle House while he was down there.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's not what we need as a coach. I will say that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
for sure.
agree.
I would
agree.
say that there's a balance to having a Gus versus having, what's the basketball coach? Bruce Pearl.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, like, this is real conversation from me about coaching and sports and athletics. I mean, Bruce Pearl has a reputation. He even brought his reputation to Auburn for kind of, being on the line with getting recruits. Gus comes off as this nice guy, but Bruce Pearl took us to the Final Four.
Yeah,
That's
Bruce
right.
Pearl is a result. He gets the results.
Right, yeah. I mean, ultimately, Bruce is doing what we want to see in football, which is what I just said. He has it on tape what he can do for a kid if you come to Auburn. So he can sell to the next recruit that it's a good idea to come here.
But, Mike, what
That's it.
about the integrity that he displays as well?
Well, I mean, when you're talking about these guys are leaders of men. They are they're role models, whether they want to be or not.
Right.
They are here to get if you're a coach, your number one job is to help the kids under your supervision reach their athletic potential.
Right.
On and off the field. So Bruce can do, I mean, he came in and it was a slow build. It wasn't all roses and daisies the first couple of years.
That's right.
It was a slow build to that Final Four. And Gus came in and it was instantly national championship that we lost.
Right.
But that national championship that we lost was a great example of what the rest of his tenure was like. All the talent to get it done, but couldn't.
But couldn't. I get it.
But couldn't. And we never reached those heights again.
No, we didn't.
We didn't.
Yeah.
Listen, in 2019, we had a championship level defense. We just didn't have a championship level offense to match. We didn't even have an SEC West winning offense to match.
That's the one thing that I hated most about this transition, getting rid of Coach Steele. What did he actually end up, guys? Do y'all know?
I don't know that Coach Steele is doing anything besides being an analyst right now.
Yeah, he had like 3 different jobs in like 2 months there after he left Auburn. But I don't think – I think we upgraded a defensive coordinator.
You think so?
Yeah,
Derek
I
Mason
definitely think
amazing.
we upgraded a defensive
Okay,
coordinator.
let me say this. I agree. I'm a supporter of that as well. But, man, Coach Steele put out some defenses, man,
He
that
did.
were, like
But
you said, they were championship defenses.
let's talk about. Oh man, I don't want to, because again, people think I'm a hater when I start saying stuff like this. But let's talk about those defenses that Coach Steele put together, right? They regressed to the mean once he lost Derek Brown and Marlon Davidson. Derek Brown and Marlon Davidson were the anchors of that defense, and when they left, the defense looked a lot worse out there on the field, specifically against the run.
Right.
We were getting pushed down around a lot last year in the trenches on the defensive line.
I agree.
No DB, no Marlon Davidson. Defense looks a lot different. So I'm not saying that Coach Steele is not good. I'm saying that we don't know if he was a product of his talent that he had on the field, or if the talent was a byproduct of his coaching.
Okay.
We need to be able to, and from a scheme standpoint, we actually got into, like, last year, we started making jokes to see, like, we couldn't generate any pass rush, right? So we were like, we had a blitz counter on. It's like, how often are they going to have to blitz to generate a pass rush?
Right.
Just because he couldn't get any pressure with the front four.
Right.
And I was just like, what are we doing on the edges? Like, what's happening up here in the front? Our defensive tackles aren't doing any penetration. Our edges aren't getting any, collapse in the pocket. Like, we aren't doing anything. So I'm wondering, what was the excellence of that defense a product of 2 guys that were phenomenal for 4 years?
So I agree with this, but who is responsible for those 2 guys being there?
So yeah, again,
Rodney
he might
Gardner.
be a good recruiter.
No, Rodney Gardner.
Rodney Gardner, yeah.
Rodney Gardner, who has a long-standing reputation as one of the best recruiters out there, especially for a defensive lineman.
Sure.
Like, this guy has put some major league talent on the field at Auburn, and he's gone as well. I feel for him and his family. I don't know where he's going to be, but I know it won't be long for somebody to pick him up because of the ability for him to recruit. But there were some really, really shining stars on the defense, some really, really good athletes. And
as far as the defense is concerned, we were putting people in the league.
Yeah.
Right? We got cornerbacks in the league. We've got defensive linemen. We got linebackers. Like, at every level, they were able to put some people in the NFL under that time when Kevin Steele and his staff were doing things at Auburn. It was not so on the offensive side of the football.
Dude, I could talk this stuff all night, man. I promise you I could. Like, this is awesome to connect with Ike, and then it is my pleasure to meet Mike. Mike, we talk the same language, man. It's cool, very cool to have met you. It won't be our last time we get a chance to talk. Maybe I'll do another one during the season where I can be like the 5th member of the
Listen, man. Listen, we can have you come on to the show sometime. Like, we do the game day broadcast. So maybe you just come, slide up, on us pre-game or post-game, whichever one. If you want to be hopeful, or if you want to come in here and hear us rant, then whichever
I'm not.
one you
Listen,
just
I'm
come.
not as well studied as you guys about Auburn football. Like,
Doesn't matter. We just need
my
the
heart
energy.
has gotten broken so much from the team, man.
That's part of being a fan, though.
It's
That's part of being
definitely
an
a
Auburn
part
fan.
of being an Auburn fan. Like my youngest son is an Alabama fan, and dude, like sometimes I just have to go in my rooms. Like I can't do it with you today.
You raised the twins right, man.
I did raise the twins right. They got it together. They got it together. Hold what you got, guys. Let me wrap this up real quick, and I'll be right back with you. Listen, man, this has been an awesome day for Strick City, man, to hang out with some guys to talk about Auburn football and to talk about content creation. If you're watching this, I have already put their channel in the chat. So definitely go by their channel and subscribe to what they are doing. Check them out, man. These guys are really knowledgeable about Auburn football. And more importantly, maybe you can learn some stuff about content creation as they're producing a lot on their channel now. It was definitely a pleasure talking to them. I have also put my bio link in the comments as well. So if you want to connect with me at strick.bio.link, you can connect with me through my email and all our social media links, and the Buy Me a Coffee link if you are someone that's trying to do content creation and you need a little help getting started. Guess what? That's what I'm here for. I want to help you. So definitely check out strick.bio.link, and I want to help you through the process. You can go and watch all the videos and take a whole year figuring it out. One phone call with me will kind of catapult you into a place where you can look like I look. It's really that simple. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. And, man, y'all make this so easy for me today. Every Thursday night, 8 p.m., I'm doing Strick City Live. Sundays, it is the stream show on the Stream Show YouTube channel. So definitely check out myself and Brant Collins as we help streamers succeed. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. All right. That's not my ending slide.